Hello again, it's Rod Fleming. And yes, I'm in front of the white screen. I will get the green screen up, promise. And some people said they liked the little green fan in the corner, so I don't know. So I want to do a couple of things today. First of all, I want to say that thank you very much for the responses I've had recently. I've been very kind and supportive. I will make a promise. If I can get enough of you to join my Patreon, it's very cheap. I put the address up there. Then I will continue to make this kind of, videos about transsexualism, transgenderism from a practical and scientific point of view several times a week. I'll do 2 or 3 a week for you if I get enough people to join. But the trouble is that YouTube just doesn't pay enough to make it worthwhile. These videos take a lot of research and effort in making, so they have to be worthwhile financially for me to do it. So all I'm asking you is, if you like my stuff, please go on to my Patreon, or in some other way you can just send money through my PayPal. It's easy enough done. There's a PayPal me, or it's plashmill at paypal.com, and it's easy. You just send something and I will appreciate it. And as I say, if I get a reasonable amount of money out of that, I don't need huge amounts of money because I have a pension, so I survive quite well. But it's enough to make it worth my effort of doing this, then I will do it. Okay, so that's a very short one for today. Now the other thing, news update today is that, as you know, I've done a few things on a particularly unpleasant autogynephilic male by the name of Paul Britton, who also goes by the names of Sarah and Lynn Britton, and another extremely nasty one called Jackson Stokes, who also goes by the names of Joey Wickham and Jagdeep Jan. I've today received a specific threat from one of these, and actually this person is absolutely evil enough to try and do something about it. So I'm going to make absolutely everything public. Everything that has been exchanged, every email, every word, everything, the whole lot is going to go up on YouTube and on my website. So if anything does happen to me, people will know where to look. I am absolutely fed up with these people and their behaviour. It's just scandalous how they think they can get away with what they do. We're talking about groomers here. Groomers who have a history of grooming. And this is substantiated by many, many claims, as you will see from the documentation that I will make public. So, there you go. That's what happens when you threaten me. I just go public. Publicity is the best form of defence. It always has been, it always is. Everything about me is completely open. I have no secrets. I am who I say I am. I know where this person lives. He knows where I live. The simple fact is that I would never actually cause physical harm to someone that I had an argument with, but this one would. This one is sufficiently evil to do that. So everything, absolutely everything, is going to go public. Okay guys, and remember, this particular one who's a problem, his name is Paul Britton, and he lives in Wolverhampton in England. I have the full address. I think I even might have his phone number. Anyway, moving on from that. The next piece of information that I must share with you is that I have, for some time now, and certainly the events surrounding these creeps have kind of pushed me in a certain direction. I have had serious rethinking about, this is UK specific, about what's called the Gender Recognition Act, which was an act passed in 2003 after much hoo-ha by the then disastrous Labour government. It's not that any other government since has been any less disastrous, let me just be sure that you know. Anyhow, the Gender Recognition Act allows people on the filling in albums with a stupid little form and giving, I think it's a couple of £100, maybe even less, pounds that is for the Americans, they get a certificate called a Gender Recognition Certificate, which allows them to use their fake name and their fake gender on public documents. And I was for many years quite supportive of this. and then I became quite ambivalent, and now I'm totally against it. And the reason is that I think I, like most people, thought that this was actually going to help all the cute, pretty, harmless little transsexuals that are out there. You know, the HSTS, the ones who wouldn't harm a fly, who are actually quite nice. In fact, it has been absolutely taken over by autogynephilic transvestites. And they are definitely not nice people. They just aren't. They are really, really poisonous. And this is what I'm having to deal with at the moment, is the poison of AGP, because they all have a problem which is called narcissistic rage. If you say anything at all that contradicts with their, it's under innocence, if you say anything at all that contradicts them, they fly into this massive rage. And, you know, there's nothing they wouldn't do. If they could kill you, they would. They absolutely would. These people are basically out of control, and they're using an act of parliament to justify what they do, or at least to hide what they do. Now let's be quite clear. Some people think that having a gender recognition certificate means that you can't have your previous life exposed in public. That is not the case. What the Act actually says is that no person who gains knowledge of a person who has a GRC of their past in an official capacity may divulge that. That would be a criminal offence. No prosecution has ever been actually carried out on that in the 20 years that it's been there. But it only applies to people who learn information in an official capacity. If you learn it some other way, like a journalist or whatever, too bad. You can make it as public as you damn well like. So all you nasty little AGPs out there who think that your GRC will prevent people telling other people who you used to be and what you are, no, you are not protected in the way that you pretend you are. The GRC does not protect you. The GRA does not protect you. It only stops people who have an official capacity, who have, you know, which is quite reasonable, you know, who have learned of your secrets in an official way. Well, they shouldn't be divulging them. But if someone else has found those secrets out, and I know you love your little secrets, then they are quite free to tell the world about them. And they should. The fact is that these people are really unpleasant. You know, we have lots of autogynephiles here in Southeast Asia, but most of the public ones are, they transition very early in life, you know, they're 14, 15, 16, 17, that sort of age, never really over 20. They hit the hormones early, and many of them are actually really nice people, and they're beautiful. They are beautiful, but they get affirmation. See, a lot of them are performing in beauty pageants. They're getting affirmation from that, you know. It's like, I am so gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous I am. I win the pageants. And that level of affirmation means that they tend to be actually quite well adjusted, you know. Whereas what happens in the West is that there is a whole, that these people, certainly in the past, and it's maybe changing a little bit, we'll discuss that. Certainly in the past, these people would transition much later in life, and there is absolutely no hope of them passing. I mean, look at somebody like Eddie Izzard, or, you know, Paul Britton. I mean, it's absolutely hopeless. There's no way anybody's going to look at these people and say, oh, that's a woman. They're going to go, shit, that's a bloke in a dress. And you can't stop people saying it. You can't say to people, oh, you can't misgender me. Of course you bloody, what is that, misgendering? If you're obviously a man, you're a man. And you get a he. That's it. That's it. That's the end of the story. There's no more arsing around than that. Sorry, there's people outside. So, I think that we have to look again at the Gender Recognition Act, and we basically have to say, look, AGPs can't use it unless they absolutely do pass, which means a very strict and long real life test. Sorry, there's a truck outside. Real life test. So they have to live as a woman and pass as a woman, successfully pass as a woman for, let's say, at least 2 years, and I would actually say 5, before they get any kind of documentation whatsoever. Sorry about that school bus outside, it makes a hell of a lot of noise. Anyway, I think we should be going the other way. We should be making the the limitations on gender recognition certificates are much more strict. So they actually only do apply to HSTs. That's true transsexuals. That's homosexual transsexuals. That is those people who are sexually inverted, males who desperately want sex with big hairy males, and who are beautiful. I feel, you know, they successfully pass as women, right? And they do exist. And we need to take this whole bunch of these repulsive AGPs and just say, right, that's it. We're not having you legitimising yourself using an act of parliament anymore. I think that needs to be stopped. And I will certainly be putting any weight that I do have, which is not a lot, behind that campaign. So, there you have it. The three things. Me being under threat, so I will continue to make things public, so that if anything happens to me, then they'll know where to look. I'll make sure they know where to look. And the GRC. We absolutely have to stop the AGPs from using these legal methods to pretend that they're actually women, and so they're engaging in women's sports. They're invading women's spaces. There's no way a true transsexual, that is a homosexual transsexual, would ever do that. They're not interested. They want big hairy men. They're not interested in spying on women. They're not interested in hiding out in women's toilets so they can have a quick, what's one of those, you know, listening to girls having peas. None of that stuff. Absolutely none of it. This is uniquely the province of the AGP. And we need to actually say, look, there are two types of people here. Actually, there are maybe more than two. But never mind, there are two principal types. And one of them are legitimate transsexuals, and the other lot are just a bunch of cross-dressing men.